Okay. So, a bit of a maintenance project on this mower beast. I did some not very long while ago. Replaced the blades, the steering assembly, and they're all working great. Apologize for the traffic. Last time I used the thing mowing, I noticed this gas tank is leaking, fuel tank is leaking. So, got a new one, put that in, and there's some other maintenance items, at least some checkouts, normal stuff. Swapping out the fuel tank is not going to be a big deal, I'm sure. Yeah, looks like that'll drop right in. So there's looks like something maybe a little less than a quart of fuel in here that I'm going to drain. The problem is this tank is leaking, and it appears to be leaking along the seam. If I fill it more than halfway, you can see it dripping down from below. I'm sure this plastic has fissures in it somewhere. Stuff just wears out. Get into a little bit more about the materials used with these and ethanol. So anyway, first things, carrying this tank, I could siphon it. I'm going to be disconnecting and inspecting hoses in anyway. So I'm just going to use a vice grip to pinch this off. Maybe a little tighter than that. And pull this clamp and remove that carb, a little bit of go juice leaking out. Oh, pardon me. And the idea is we'll just let that dribble on into this jerry. We can get this good. Let's see. Yes. Nice seal there. And that flow. That's going to take a minute or so. Oh, come on. I should have got a gas filter. It's flowing. Yeah, I can always pick one up later. In fact, I think I have one or two of those around. Well, maybe that thing is see. I think that'd be draining out faster than it is. It is gone. Actually, no. I think it's okay. Oh, yeah. Now I had to replace this small section of fuel line. Typical split began leaking. Fuel out here in. But for some reason, the hose leading from the filter on up to the fuel tank is, by all appearances, at least so far as I can tell, just fine. And I did notice that they used it was a different hose, different manufacturer, different process. Don't know why that little bit here would fail and the rest of it be. I mean, this thing, 14 going on 15, actually going on 16 years of service here. And I had to do maintenance things on it, of course. Occasional repairs, as mentioned. So, I think we can go ahead and remove this tank. And so what am I going to do? Bees around here. Pitch this. First the fuel out. We don't need this no more. Okay. New gas tank, fuel tank. Same as the old one. Cap's a little different. I notice on this fill cap, it has labeled here a circle slash, which means no. Circle slash no. And what they're saying no to in this tank, this fuel tank, is waiting for the traffic. It says greater than E10. Greater than no greater than E10. What that means is don't use fuel in these tanks if it has more than 10% ethanol. And that goes for a hell of a lot of other components in these engines, these small engines. Ethanol, it destroys them. They're not designed for that. And even the simple thing is a fuel tank. And I don't care if it's made of plastic or if it's made of steel. Ethanol will mess it up. In the case of plastic, get a muffler, huh? In the case of plastic, it attacks the plastic itself. In the case of steel, because ethanol, is so hygroscopic, meaning it loves water, it'll rust it out in no time at all. Same thing with the rubber components used in the engine, the seals, valves, pumps that the engine uses. Ethanol screws it up. And not to mention the corrosion factor, it's terrible. So It's interesting to note that they, right on the cap, they say don't put anything more than 10% ethanol. If it were up to me, I'd put 0% ethanol in here. I want pure gasoline. That's what I'm paying for. Not corn whiskey. If I want that, I would buy that and put it in there. And the engine would run, but not for very long. Call that rant over. So anyway, simple matter to get this fuel tank removed. I do have some fuel line, just in case run into some trouble. I doubt we will. This line looks okay to me. Might have to cut a wire tie here, easily replaced. So, go ahead and get some more leaky one. Comes off. Yeah, very simple. Hose and clamping on there. Yeah, one leaky fuel tank. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know precisely from where it was leaking, and I suspect it's along this. Oh, there it is. There's fuel left in there, but there's a crack right there, and that's probably, and once you fill this all the way up, sloshing around. Yeah, I bet my last nickel, that's where the leak was. Yep, so anyway, it's foobar. Trying to repair these, put epoxy on it or try to refuse it or melt it, don't bother. When those failures happen, it's done. It's just going to crack, leak someplace else. So don't bother trying to fix this. Now you could make your own, I suppose, if you're handy that way. So, see if I can sprinkle more gasoline all over the place. Okay, so that one's done. Closer look at this fuel line. You know, I am going to replace this. I said I'm going to replace this. It's showing too many signs of where it cracks. Yeah. That's gotta go. While I'm at it. Okay, so just clamp off of here, and just let what's in there dribble out. Won't hurt nothing. I should have got a new filter. Yeah. No live. One up there. I can see that looks clean. I've got a knot tie. Not special. Quarter-inch ID stuff. And blue. looks like just enough with a little bit extra. Perfect. I need to go get something to cut that with. Not the best thing, but it'll work. And make these the same length. Okay. And that leaves me with a piece that could go there. Yeah, I have to push this back through. A bit extra. Need a clamp. Stick that on. Let's see, this goes this way. Yep. Yeah. Nice honeymoon fit. Jeez, too much honeymoon fit. Don't need a little hip. Teeny little bit of soap on that. You could use grease whenever, it's soap handy, which works. That should work. Clamp back. No kinks. Nose. Clamp back. Fill filter on. Put the clamp. That'll work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and replace that. It's already showing signs of wear, so while I'm here, I got the piece. Cut that. blanks. And use this up here. Yep. Arms. And nice. Trash. 2 points. Okay, so don't need that no more. Don't need that. Okay, so before I put anything further back, I need to check. Yeah, that looks okay. And dump this little bit of fuel back in, check for leaks. I don't mean check for leaks that the tank is leaking, it's just the hoses. Good idea to do that. This junk. Yeah, I don't see any immediate trouble. Certainly one of those things you gotta kind of keep an eye on. So we'll let this set spell. And go ahead and put the bolts in. Shroud. Yeah. In the meantime, while I'm waiting, we'll do a check on a couple of other things that do need attention time to time. Sorry about that. Let's see. Air cleaner. Look like should be good. Maybe you could use a some grass and stuff on this. Try not to let any of it get down inside. Not difficult to do. Yeah, this filter's grass. It is in good shape, so I'm going to leave that alone. The oil, well, I check the level of the oil and its color before every mow. Yeah, why not? I'm going to mow today anyway, I think. Needs it. Oh yeah. Oil's right where it should be, nice and clean. No troubles. And a couple of things with these overhead valve brakes is this is a 14.5 horsepower. I had some trouble with the cover, with the bolts, the fasteners for the cover, loosening, and so leaking oil, and the oil drips right down onto the muffler. If you see a pile of smoke coming out shortly after starting, you might need to either replace this cover gasket or just tighten the bolts a little bit. I've had to do it a couple. I've never replaced the gasket, but I have had to service this. And I think if it begins leaking again, it's going to be gasket replacement time. I see some places here where it's not great. So that's one thing with this particular engine to look for. Another one with these, and I've had a little bit of trouble with this fuel reservoir, the bowl in this engine, attached to the carburetor. It is solenoid driven, meaning this is a valve that cuts off the fuel from the tank into this bowl when it's not running, which is actually a good thing. Now, the problem is this connection can give you some grief. If you're not getting any fuel, first thing to check is this solenoid connection. The solenoid is it's a simple valve that admits, when open, that when this valve is energized, it admits gasoline, fuel, into the bowl from which the carburetor will take it. If this valve, if the electrical connections to this solenoid valve are loose, or for whatever reason this thing, it's very meager alternator quits working, the engine won't run for long, or it'll run until the bowl empties, or it just won't start. So keep an eye on that. Usually all it takes is just to pull it off. You squirt a little WD-40 or something in it and plug it back on. Okay, I have been running my knob for a while now, and I don't see any evidence of leakage. At least with a quart or so of fuel. So I'm going to put everything back. Let's see, how does this want? Yes, this goes on top of the fuel tank, which makes sense to me. And as usual, these are the self-tapping fasteners, and that is what we're fastening is plastic. You do not over torque these, and don't use Loctite with the plastic. Don't. Loctite, a thread locker, is often incompatible with plastics, particularly ABS. I think this is high density polypropylene. I'd have to check, but just don't even think about if a bolt is fastening, or a fastener is fastening plastic parts. Do not use Loctite. Trust me, it will bite you if you do that. If it keeps coming loose on you, figure out a different way. Locking hardware. You come up with something else. Don't use lock. Loctite's wonderful stuff. Don't get me wrong, but do not use it for fastening any plastics. Don't risk it. I've been burned. Don't do it. Okay, so I think we're pretty much swell. And before I put the top cover on here, start it up, make sure it actually runs, and then cut this off. I'm going to pull the connection to that solenoid that allows fuel to enter the carburetor hole, and just watch what happens. See how quick that went? So if one of these engines set up like this on this model just won't start, but it'll chirp a little bit if you spray some starter fluid in, first thing you check is the connection to this solenoid. If that's not making good contact, they'll not run. Now that it's back on, so I'm going to roll around the yard a little bit and just make sure everything's working. I have little doubt that there's not going to be any trouble with it. Just a leaky tank. For the little amount of dollars, really, I think I spent maybe $30 on this tank. 2 bolts, 2 fasteners, a couple of hose clamps, and just a little bit of hose, and we're done. $30. Take this to your local shop, and you're going to be up $200 minimum by the time you get with shop fees, taxes, and parts markup. That's where they really kill you. So anyway, this is, I'll save the cap. Otherwise, it's junk. There's no fixing these things. Once they begin leaking, it's done. There's a reason it's leaking, and I can see other evidence in places, cracking, checking. Yeah, it's done. So anyway, I'll hold this up. If anything shows up odd, I'll record that too if I have to go further with this, but I think this is going to be about it. See you.